Race fans, and welcome to round one of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series 2022 and 2023 from the wonderful circuit that is Imola. I'm Giles Cosgrove, and we are very excited to be bringing you a whole new series of sim racing this year, with teams from around the world competing in all their virtual glory for the ultimate prize of Best Formula Student Sim Racing Team. We've got universities from Southampton, Bolton, Cambridge, Liverpool, all the way out to a Facultade de Agraria de Universidade de Porto. It is a whole global event, and you are going to get to see some of the very best sim racers competing on track today in two races. It's going to be absolutely marvelous. We have brought you live action from Imola, one of the classic European Grand Prix circuits. GT3 is the series we're racing in today. Various cars lining up on the grid for you, including Lamborghinis, Audis, Mercedes, Ferraris. We've even got a Nissan. It's going to be absolutely marvelous. I'm joined by Monty. Monty, are you excited?
Oh, I'm very excited for this one, Giles. It's a lot of prep work going over the summer. We did a practice race a couple of weeks ago. Lots of carnage, as you would expect with students, but that's part of the fun here. So they've done the practice. We're on for the racing tonight, so I think it's going to be much cleaner tonight. A lot of close racing. And looking at the amount of prep work that all the universities have been doing on the practice servers, well over 3,000 laps of practice laps have been done in the last 2 weeks. So I'm looking forward to this.
This could be a really, really great opening race. Last year, University of Southampton took the crown with 582 points in total, followed by Salford in second and University of Bolton in third. What can we expect this year? You've been seeing the practices taking place throughout the last couple of weeks. Who do you think are teams to watch this year?
Wow, it's a good question to ask, really. We definitely saw last year for sure that those who were most prepared ended up walking away with it. I mean, just before I answer that question, if we look at last year, Southampton, they were so far ahead of everyone else by the end of it. Until about round five, it was a five-way fight for the title, really. And Southampton just notched it up an extra gear. They put extra time into the practice servers, and they ended up winning everything for the last couple of rounds. So it's definitely a case of if you put the prep work in, you will definitely see the results. And based on what we've seen in the practice results so far this year, or for this round, I should say, the usual protagonists are up there: Southampton, Salford, Bolton, Cambridge, and Newey. And Hull. They've all been doing very, very well. As you've probably noted, we've got quite a few extra teams compared to last year as well. We're up to 46 for this season, guys. And there's a couple of new names in there which I'm really looking forward to seeing how they can do. They did a very great job in the practice race. Glasgow, the reigning champions in Formula Student proper itself, they've come and joined us for the Sim Racing Series this year. Great to have you on board, guys. And I'm not going to lie, they have been topping the timesheet so far in the practice session. Half a second faster than the next nearest competitor. So I think we're going to see Glasgow joining in there with the reigning champions and the big names from last season for sure.
Half a second lead. You could park a double-decker bus in that. That ones to watch indeed. UGR, University of Glasgow Racing, here at Formula Student Sim Racing for the 2022-2023 season. I'm Giles Cosgrove. Joining me is Monty. Welcome along. And this year we've got 46 teams, as we've been saying. Last year it was 32, so that's a huge jump. 14 more teams joining the competition, including the likes of Cardiff Racing from Cardiff University and Edinburgh Napier, who are a new team to Formula Student overall. So looking forward to seeing what they can do. Now, not all the teams will be appearing on track today because of what is called the 107% rule. Monty, let's go into that.
Yes, so one of the prerequisites for tonight's race, guys, is that for any driver to compete for their team, they have to come onto the practice server. It's open for 2 weeks prior to the round, and they've got to, at the very least, do 5 consecutive laps within 107% of the fastest 5 times, which is then averaged out. The reason we're doing this is because we found last year there's a wide variety of talent in this series. We have esports professionals ranging all the way to some people who have never touched a racing game before. So to ensure that we've got a good level playing field, and we're not getting into chaotic situations, we want to make sure that each driver who's representing the university's team is able to drive at a certain standard.
Excellent. So we are racing at Imola, and the teams have had the opportunity to choose from their GT3 class cars. The most popular I'm seeing, according to my notes here, 17 of the teams have chosen the Lamborghini Huracan GT3, which is notably the most powerful car available on the grid. But will that prove dividends when it comes to on-track racing? Because speed and power may not be what they need in order to succeed at Imola. You've also got their available Audi R8. You've got a few Audis there. And one team, I'm delighted to say, the University of Aberdeen has chosen the Nissan GTR, which is great to see. So have the Queen's University of Belfast.
Giles. I think we had
Yes.
2 teams. Yeah, Queen's Belfast. Yeah, so there's 2 Nissans on the grid tonight, guys.
I'm looking forward to seeing this. We've got a couple of McLarens as well. And then there's one here, the Scuderia Glickenhaus, which I'll be interested to see how that one gets on. So plenty to get amongst and get into this year. We've got plenty to look forward to as well, as the teams have to actually put a lot of strategy into their approach to each race, because they only get a number of tyres. They get a set number of tyres, hard, soft, mediums, and they also at some point or other have to run either their Joker or they have to run 107%, I believe, of their actual weight.
Yes, 5%. 5%
5%,
extra
that'll be it.
of their weight. Yes. So yeah, a couple of strategy elements to talk about here, guys. So as you can see on the screen just now, what we are doing, what we should probably tell you is that not all the car and track combinations have been announced yet. They know what dates the races are on, but we're keeping the second half of the season as a secret for the drivers. What they do know at the moment is everything between non-championship round to round 3. And within that area, we've given them a certain allotment of tyres to use. So 1 compound of hard, 1 compound of medium, and 1 compound of soft. For round 3, it's a fixed control tyre. So that takes a little bit of the strategy pressure out there. However, they've also got the Joker ballast to consider as well. Each of these cars, for every round we go to, will be running at 5% over their original weight. A team will be able to utilise once in this period a Joker, so bring it back down to its original weight, which, as you can see, obviously no one wanted to use that in the non-championship round because it didn't count for anything. But interestingly, we've got 2 teams using the Jokers for tonight's round. That's Salford and Wolverhampton. However, plot twist here, guys, because if we look back on the tyre compound here, so we can see who's using their soft, who's using their mediums, who's using their hard for tonight. Anyone you see highlighted as yellow is a 1-driver entry, and per those rules, there should be 2 drivers representing the team tonight. If you can only field 1 driver, well, you're allowed to take part in race 2, but you've got to start from the back of the grid in the bottom server. So everyone that you see highlighted in yellow, we may see them in race 1 for this live stream, but unfortunately not for race 2, because they're going to be in the bottom tier server, which we'll keep you updated on. We do have live timings for these, so you can see how they're getting on, but we won't be able to see the action as we're only live streaming the top 20 who have qualified for tonight's event.
Plenty to get excited about then as we look forward to racing here at Imola. Temperatures, we're simulating a temperature of around 17 degrees Celsius out there in the marvelously realized digital realm of Italy. It is all zeros and ones, but it's very exciting zeros and ones. You can be surprised what maths can do to a person. So here we go then. Formula Student 2022, the Sim Racing Series begins here very shortly. We're expecting the results of the qualifying to come in very soon. And as we were saying, you'll only be able to see the top 20 teams because we've got that many entering this year into the Sim Racing Series. We've had to split it down into an upper and lower race based on who has qualified best. So that is going to be really exciting to see. Plenty to get into.
I've just realised here, guys, we were having a slight stream crash here. I've been told that the race server has just gone live. So, Giles, whilst you just add on to the extra bits of information here, I'm just going to see if we can get some live pictures, because I'm being told that we do have 20 cars out on track at the moment. So, momentarily, guys, we will have some images to show for you.
20 cars out on track. I've got the live timings here now. So we've the 52 seconds in, and Leon Rodriguez has crashed, according to my timing sheet here. Number 1 for the University of Salford, it's Wheater. Number 2 for, I can't make out what university that is for, but we're looking at some really exciting UGR in the top 10 here. With another entry from University SM.
UWR. One better than that. If you look on your screen now, my friend, we have some live pictures of the top tier server.
Here we?
Well, I have. I'm hoping you do as well.
I sincerely hope someone does, because I don't.
No worries.
Slick as ever.
No worries. There you are.
There
this
we
is
are.
exactly why Giles is the lead commentator and I'm not, because I fail at multitasking at stuff like this. But there we are. If that's not working for you, Giles, what we'll do, we're going to hop on the break.
It's all good. I have now been given access. I can see what you can see live from Imola as the sun's setting. We are on board there with what I believe is UGR, and they are, again, looking really, really promising. They won at Silverstone this year, so what are they going to be able to pull off in the sim racing series? Could this be a major upset? Last year it was dominated by, of course, University of Southampton. UGR, the upstarts in the sim racing series, having only joined for this year, and already they are topping the timesheets. They are ones to watch. This could be very, very exciting.
Absolutely. No, I'm looking forward to this one. Really am. Glasgow have been so well prepped for this one. Wolverhampton as well. Shout out to them. They've put in Mr. Lewis, particularly, has done over 300 laps of practice in the server. So they're taking this really, really seriously as well. And they want to be taken seriously. They want to be seen here in the top tier server. And granted, they are the new faces. They don't want to let reigning champion Southampton run away with it again this year. Fair play.
No, not at all. And that means that we're going to get some really exciting racing. Apologies for the technical difficulties earlier, but we are now looking on track now. Is this race 1, Monty?
This is race 1. This is top tier server race 1. And it looks like we have Glasgow and pole from Salford, Bolton, Wolverhampton and Cambridge. That is our top 5. I'm hoping what we'll be able to do, we do have a moderator on our YouTube channel as well tonight. So for anyone who is out there, what we're going to do in a minute is send the live timing links out. So you can see all the action, which is happening obviously on your screen at the moment. Live timings there, but also for the bottom tier server, as I say, we do have another 20 teams who are lining up on their respective grids, getting ready for their race, which will be starting at the same time. And you'll be able to see what's happening in both races at the same time.
Back down in 4th for UWR, it's Lewis flashing his lights there, getting ready to go, ready and raring. Car number 69 on your screens, 4th on the grid.
Unsurprisingly, there's a large number of Lamborghinis here, so for those who believe that they were the quickest car, it's looking like a field of Lamborghinis really for most of the server. Let's just...
I was talking to those who've entered from Cardiff Racing about why they chose the Lamborghini, and apparently it was because it was the most forgiving.
Oh, there we are. Oh, what's this at the back, guys? For anyone who took part in the series last year, look what's back. It's the green Lambo. There's a story about this one, I'm afraid, Giles. We're going to have to talk about it later on, but for anyone who took part in last year's Barcelona round, the sight of a green Lamborghini will be enough to haunt them. That's all I'm going to say for now.
Oh dear, oh dear. But
however, it looks like we've got the lights about to come on.
Here we go then. For the very first time this year for the Formula Student Sim Racing Series, 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, 6 lights. Lights out and away we go. It's a bit of a slow start from everyone, and already chaos, and that 3rd place to 1st in one go there for car number 3 up to, that's UGR's Cohen in 1st, immediately out of the gate. A slow start from the front row there. Are we going to get front? Are we going to get first corner carnage? It seems to be relatively tidy through Imola. Come through Tamburello now, headed towards Villeneuve.
Someone's
The
fallen
car's
down at the back
bunching
there,
up.
Giles. It looks like the Ion have fallen down the back of the field, so I think out of camera shot there, we did have an accident.
Had an accident already, as expected, first lap chaos. The cars bunching up together, plenty of Lamborghinis, wheel-to-wheel action. It's Watts in first, having got the jump on UGR and Salford. On board now with Cohen for UGR, chasing down Watts for NCME. Getting very close, very close. Gonna dive there, diving down the inside. This could be a real move then. Is he gonna make it stick? Not quite. Watts just holding him off there.
Never seen someone try to pass an Aqua Minerali, let alone on the outside. That was audacious for a first lap move. But I have to say, Giles, I was looking, Glasgow, I've got a feeling they may have jumped the start there. I definitely saw some...
I thought so. There was movement. There was definite movement, and I almost called it, and I didn't want to because I couldn't quite tell. But UGR looking around the inside. Oh.
Yep.
37.
Yep.
Sorry, James. I think you're on the grid.
7.
Yep.
Giles, can you hear me?
Hear me? My connection dropped out, and I've lost pictures.
No, you should have your pictures back in a second there. I just got moved into a different channel on Discord unexpectedly there. So, Giles, you should have your pictures back now.
We're back with you now. I do apologise for the interruption. Some really exciting racing here at Imola, or as many as zeros and ones can bring you to Imola. But we've already had... I lost pictures and we had a heck of a lot of changeover. We're back to qualifying positions now. UGR, driven by Cohen, and we are University of Salford, have got back into first and second place respectively, taking back the position from Watts, who got the jump on them out of the start, was there. Watts up to second now, having overtaken Lewis.
Salford spun, Giles.
Salford spun off there then.
So that's a costly, that's down to 7th. Now remember guys, Salford, they're on the soft tyres and they're running no joker as well for this round. So in theory, they have the fastest car.
So the grid as it stands right now. The grid as it stands, University of Glasgow Racing with Cohen is in first. For Watts, it's second for NCME. For UWR, Lewis is in third. Clivago is in fourth, and VIT Chabet is in fifth.
Got Porto in 6th, Salford 7th, Southampton reigning champions in 8th. Oh, there's Salford actually making a move on Porto, as I say. Nice, down the inside. That's one more place picked. Who's your bets on winning this one then, Giles? Do we think, in theory, Salford have the quickest car here? Do we think they can make it to the front? What about Glasgow?
I sincerely hope so. It would be great if I could actually
speaking of which, Glasgow in the pits. Yes, drive-through penalty. They must have jumped the start.
I'm sure, yes, I noticed. Unfortunately, again, I have lost your pictures.
Dear. Can you see anything now, Giles?
No, I can't.
Right, not a problem. Guys, we're going to go and move on to a 60-second break just to find out what's going on.
I was back.
And, yeah, we'll be back in 60 seconds once we know what is happening. Be right back.
And we're back now as the University of Salford make up a place and take fourth on lap 2 of the inaugural opening race for the simulated racing series of Formula Student 2022-2023. That is Weir driving for Salford. Wheater, I should say. I don't get the full name down the left-hand side. That is what I'm going on here. And plenty of Lamborghinis. In fact, your top 5 are all Lamborghinis. Number 6 is an Audi there. So your top 5 as it stands. Watts for NCME has got back up into first place. In second, it's Lewis for UWR. Clavigo is in third. In fourth, it's Wheater for the University of Salford. And in fifth, Chalet for VIT. So that jump start from the University of Glasgow Racing cost them dearly. Back down in 18th now as a result of the drive-through penalty they got for jumping the start. Monty called it. It was indeed a jump start. Looking really solid up until the point that they had to serve that drive-through penalty. The sun setting on the virtual tarmac of Imola.
I'll tell you
On
what,
board
Glasgow
there
are going
with
to be
car
kicking
17.
themselves for that. With a half-second advantage in qualifying and then throwing it all away with a drive-through like that, they are going to be very angry with themselves for that, I'm sure.
They are likely to be disappointed with that. Can they make it up in the laps remaining? I'm not convinced as it goes. We're on lap 3 now here at Imola. Watts with a firm lead of almost a second, a whole second between the number 1 car and the number 2. Clavigo are 4 seconds behind. So that Watts is opening up a great lead here.
Absolutely, no, he's just streaking away with this one. Both are looking well prepped, and they said at the end of last year they felt ready to challenge for a title this year. They felt better prepped, and they're putting their words into action, that's for sure. I'm just having a look down the field there. We do seem to have a tasty battle in the midfield there. UWTSD is making up a couple of places, with Coventry right on their backside.
Meanwhile, TUI dropping right down the field. I wonder why that is. We're on board now with car number 11 in the running order. That's USWTD.
Tamburello there. Oh, this is going to get a bit tight.
Close quarters there as we go reel-to-reel racing for the midfield. You've got the Audi there of UWSTD. Car number 12. Really great stuff. Really great racing. Nice and tidy.
Held on to that. University. There's a long name for you.
By the time I finish saying that, the race will be over. So we're just going to stick with UWSTD. No, definitely not STD. More to the point, we're on board now with the Welsh car, holding off a whole heap of traffic admirably through the circuit here in Italy as the cars come through, and he's already hunting down the Porsche. So this is going to be really interesting now. The Audi has got to overtake this Porsche because the traffic behind them is building and building and building, and in a second being held up by that slower car is going to cost them dearly. So what's going to happen there then?
I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but look who's already on this chain. It's Glasgow. They've already caught up to the back of this chain. They're purging their way through here. Man's on a mission. Look, he's up to 12th now.
Owen for University of Glasgow Racing, having jumped the start from pole, has jumped from 17th to 12th in one lap, having served a drive-through penalty. On board then with the UGR car. You can see there on your screen the USWTD car trying to work out how a way past that Porsche, but it's not going to happen. And UGR going down the inside, down through the pit straight, heading towards Tamburello. He's made it stick. Cohen getting over. This could be a double move in one foul swoop. Round the outside, off the way, off the track. It was an admirable move. It was a brave move, and as Ethan Sutter did say, if you see a gap and you don't take it, you are no longer a racing driver, and that was a gap, and he took it, and I absolutely respect that. Great stuff. Down to 13th for Cohen for UGR, as we are just getting right into the midfield here. Elsewhere up front, the gap has dropped to half a second between Watts and Lewis for the battle for first. Meanwhile, on board now with UGR coming round the inside, making up 12th. Hunting, trying to make up for the mistake earlier. That bit of contact that lost them 2 positions. Got to do it all again. The Audi in front for UW TSD. This is exciting stuff. Getting the slipstream off the Porsche. Going round the outside of the Audi. Is it going to be a double? Is he going to make it stick? UW TSD yields as the UGR car. Oh, and it's all... Oh, dearie me. It's all gone pear-shaped. It's all gone pear-shaped. There was no room to stop. The Porsche lost it, and that was it. It was all over. And UGR having a woeful first race, given their performance in qualifying. Down at the back of the grid twice in as many laps.
This is going to be a heck of a recovery drive then. It's part of the complexities of this series that I have to say, Giles. We saw this as well last year as well. Those who haven't got the pace, having the pace is one thing, but over 25-minute races, how to keep it consistent. I think last season that was why it's so unpredictable in the first rounds, because we had so many teams with so much pace over one lap. But then once we got into the race, things like this started to happen, and it took easily half a season for them to start finding some consistency, build up a bit of racecraft, and as entertaining as this is for us to watch, the pains that we're watching Glasgow go through just now is exactly what some teams having to go through at the beginning of last season as well. So I guess you could say your Southamptons, the Southamptons, Cambridge, they were doing all these mistakes last year, so they're kind of at an advantage at the start of this year because they know what the situation is now. They know what they need to prepare to do this 25-minute race. Whereas I think Glasgow, respectfully, are learning the hard way at the moment, but I don't doubt for a second that they're going to learn from these lessons, and as the season goes on, we're going to see them at the top of the field, capitalising on this pace, which we evidently can see that they have. They've been doing, what was that, 17th to 12th in one lap just before?
17th to 12th in one lap. 35 seconds off the front runner, which is, again, Watson for NCME. This is astounding. Can University of Glasgow Racing make up 34 seconds in 12 and a half minutes? That's the question. This could be still wide open for everyone involved as University of Glasgow Racing take up the 17th position, hunting down 16th. Cohen on the tail of UCL, University College London. There's less than a second between them as they dive down through the classic Italian circuit. Golden hour raining down.
I think we're going to have to keep an eye on the rest of the timing sheets here, with the exception of the top four who are kind of doing their own thing. If we look from, say, P6 downwards, Giles, it's about half a second between each of them. So obviously just now we want to look at the battle for the top two because this is close. But
this has become close.
It's less than half a second now, but if it starts spacing out, we're going to look at all these other battles further down the field because it is very, very close throughout.
It hasn't spaced out in the way that it usually does. The drivers have remained bunched up. The pace is consistent across the field as we look now for the battle for first between Watson and Lewis. Very little separating the two cars. Just over a half a second gap currently between Watson in first and Lewis for UWR in second. The Salford car dropping away down to third was right up there at the start of the race in amongst all the controversy with the jump start. The gap beginning just about to increase between Watson and Lewis, just maintaining that consistency.
Yes, and with 10 minutes of consistency left to go, which, just as we say that, he's had an absolute terrible exit out of Tamburello, and that's allowed Wolverhampton to get right onto their backside now, so the pressure's beginning to mount now, Giles. This is the other part of the racing as well. You've got more pace, but how do you handle as other cars start coming closer to you? They're both on soft tyres, so in theory these should be starting to degrade now. Those are on the harder compound. Their pace should still be able to hang on a little bit now, but those are on softs. The car's not going to feel nice anymore. It's going to start sliding around. How can you keep it on the black stuff and handle having someone flashing away in your mirrors every second or third corner, really mounting up that pressure.
Now, talking of mounting up that pressure, is that a pressure tactic? Lewis, full beam on their headlights there, filling up the mirrors of Watson, that green Lamborghini, filling up the mirrors of Watson. As you were saying, the pressure's ramping up, the tyres are diving off now. Watson must be sat there sweating. So is that from Lewis? Is that just because the lights are on, or is that a real way of letting Watson know he is under pressure as the gap closes ever so tightly now? 0.2 seconds between the two front runners. Can Watson hold on? We've got 9.5 minutes of racing left for the first race here at Imola. If you've just joined us, it's Formula Student Sim Racing live for 2022-2023. Giles and Monty here are your commentary team as we fly down the pitch straight, heading towards Tamburello, the classic Imola Grand Prix circuit. Less than half a second separates the front two runners. Going through the Villeneuve chicane, heading towards Tosa now.
I was going to say, Wolverhampton to be careful because of his built up last lap. Salford went a second faster than both. So this squabbling is bringing Salford onto that. Remember, Salford are running a joke. They are 5% lighter on their weight compared to Wolverhampton and Bolton. So the fastest car is coming for them, Giles.
We've already seen how fast, the Salford car are from that opening lap. So you can see there on your screens now the demonic dark black Lamborghini hunting down the two front runners. We've been so focused on Lewis and Watson, we never took a notice of Wheaton, and Wheaton is now right there. Only a second between Wheaton and the front runner Watson there. So this could be a three-way battle for the win. As you were saying, Monty, that battle for seconds, slowing both front runners down, allowing Wheaton to make up the gap. Wheater, I should say. I do apologise. And this is when things get really exciting. We are on board now. Your front three runners here at Imola for the first race of the Cardiff Formula Student Cardiff. I'm in Cardiff. The Formula Student Sim Racing Series, 2022-2023. The battle for first. 9 laps in, 7 minutes to go. You're on board there with Lewis for the UWR, University of Wolverhampton Racing.
They've lost a bit of time there, Giles. Look at that. He's lost 3/10 of that lap. He's just about outside of the slipstream now at 7/10 of a second behind. Salford only 3/10 of a second behind. He's got to get a total next lap round, and I can see Salford taking second.
Salford really, really knocking on the door of Wolverhampton here, as Lewis is so focused, rightfully so, on taking the lead from Watson. All of a sudden, you look in your mirrors and you can see there. Can you imagine your mirrors being filled up with that right behind you on your tail? It's not a comfortable position to be in, as only a second separates the front three cars here at the first race. This is what we go racing for. This is the exciting stuff. It may all be zeros and ones, but regardless, this is what we're here for. A three-way battle for the win. 6.5 minutes to go. 10 laps in. Classic European Grand Prix circuit. The tyres wearing down. And as Monty's been saying, indeed, Lewis has just dropped out of the slipstream that he was getting from Watson. So Wheater has got the advantage now, a lighter car in the slipstream, getting a little bit wide through that turn there.
Yeah, he's just wasted his chance there now because he's gone wide, and now that's ruined him for the straight here. So unless Wolverhampton ruin these last two corners, Salford's going to have to wait another lap to get close enough to get that toe to try and slipstream them into Tamburello.
Having said that, by the looks of things from where I'm sitting, Salford are clearly the slower car out of the pair because they've been dropping off from Watson's rear as Wheater reels them in. And this is what we've been saying. The tyres are dropping off and Salford are not running. They are running, or should I say so. They are not running at the 105% weight that most of the cars on the grid are running with. They are running with their Joker, one of two cars on the grid doing so. So they are lighter, they are faster, and
there goes Salford!
Having said all of that, it's all over. Or at least it might. Can they recover from that? Very wide through there into the gravel trap. Wasting all that hard work for the University of Salford. That's a calamity. What a disaster.
Yeah, no, I can see Mr. Wheater kicking himself for that one. You did so much effort there, but I think you can see it coming in the last lap. The car's getting just a little bit squirrely. The problem is they're on softs, so these things are going to be absolutely cooked now, Giles. And I reckon what's happened there is by getting onto the back of them, he's just overcooked his tyres a little bit. And, well, that was the end result there. But, you know, as they say, it's not over until the fat lady sings, and I've not heard her voice yet. So there's still 4.5 minutes until she's due to sing, so let's see what happens.
This could be a real battle right towards the finish now. 2 seconds separating Lewis and Wheater for University of Wolverhampton and Salford, respectively. The top 3, as you can see there on your screens on the left-hand side, you've got NCME, that's Watson in first, Lewis in second. In third, it's Wheaton. Meanwhile, we are on board with car number 8. As we've got a big battle in the midfield, on board with one of the Ferraris now. So nice to see a bit of a change in the field as one of the Lambos gets squirrely. Oh, that is a brave move round the outside. I've not seen that. Three abreast. This is a really nice bit of racing from all 3 drivers. No contact I could make out. All within pay. This is good stuff for the Ferrari now. Coming on to the approach of the rear of the Audi. The Lamborghini in front of them, holding it up.
Now, the Lamborghini has the power advantage here. But a double slipstream, can any of them going to do a banzai coming into Tamburello? This is Southampton, Cambridge, Hull, and it looks like also just joined the back of them as well.
I was about to say, meanwhile, we're getting excited for the battle for 6th. And meanwhile, in the rear there, the Audi for Porto has just snuck on through and could be joining this battle in the midfield for 6th position.
Oh, and I don't believe it. Look who's behind them. In the yellow Lamborghini, it's Glasgow. They're back up to 10th, guys.
What a marvellous recovery drive for the University of Glasgow Racing. Right from the back of the grid. Going a little wide through there, but making the most of the tarmac, making the most of the curve.
They've been thoroughly entertaining to watch so far in this race, Glasgow. I mean, I know it's not going to be the result that they would have wanted from this, but from pole to jump start, from the back to the midfield, down to the back again, and now they're back up to 10th. They have been thoroughly entertaining to watch in this first race, and I really do hope in the second race we do get to see them capitalise on a great result to show that this pace can be turned into big points.
Do stay with us indeed as the University of Glasgow makes a move round the outside, head trying to get ninth from Porto in the Audi. Looking on the inside now here with University of Glasgow Racing. Very, very tidy stuff, nice and tight, efficient overtake, good move, no drama, just what they need for their recovery drive. As Cohen heads down towards what I think might be Piratella, or is that Tosa? I can't quite tell from here.
Won't be Tosa, that's on the other end of the track, and I haven't got my map with me, so I can't tell you either, I'm afraid, Giles. Sorry.
Might be Kerma Fausto Gresny, I don't know, but what we do know is that it's shaping up to be a marvellous race. We've got a minute 30 or so left on the clock for all the drivers. Can Watson hold on in first? Not less than half a second between him and Lewis in second. Meanwhile, we are on board with University of Glasgow, who have made it up to 8th position, can you believe, from all the way back in the back of the grid after that jump start, after that drive-through penalty, and then after the calamity of the crash with one of the Porsches on grid now. It's GT3 racing at Imola, and it does not get much better than this.
Whilst this is all happening, Giles, viewers, as we said...
Oh, there's one of the Porsches. I think it's the same Porsche that we saw earlier. It's a Ferrari. It's a Ferrari, and it spun right off.
Oh, that was serious brown trouser moment. Just to see someone spinning around back on track like that, but it looks like they are back on track. Gosh, they're down to 15th, so that's going to be some big points after that.
That is going to be gutting with only 30 seconds or so left on the clock. That is not a mistake you want to be making. We look now to the midfield where all the action is happening. But meanwhile, car number 9 in 9th position is one of the Lamborghinis. And you can see immediately the pace of University of Glasgow. They're nowhere to be seen.
5 seconds, and they just made up another race for Tycon again. Oh! No, I see
battling with Cambridge. Oh, this could be very interesting.
Now This is Alex Wilkinson, their drivers, guys, from Cambridge. He's a very, very aggressive driver that's racing in an esports hunter. Oh, look at him. He's holding on to that. He does not want to lose that hard-fought 7th position, so he's had to concede. Well, I don't think this is going to be the last we'll see of Mr. Wilkinson as we come on to the last lap now, Giles.
Last lap for the very first race.
Oh, who's that?
Of
Is
the
that
Students'
Southampton?
Racing Series, and that is Southampton. Is that Southampton?
It is.
Southampton gone wide and lost 2 positions at once in the last lap. Not what these drivers want to see. It does all happen. UGR up from the back of the grid, up to 6th. Watson maintaining that lead. Lewis hunting him down with a half-second gap. And we are on board with car number 7. There it is.
Fantastic first race of the season, Giles.
This is my first time watching anything of sim racing, and it's also my first time commentating on wheel-to-wheel racing. And I've got to say, I have absolutely adored this. It's been brilliant. Great stuff from all drivers. Drama from start to finish. And do stay with us because we will have race number 2 very shortly. And if it was anything like the first one, you're going to absolutely be in for a treat as the University of Glasgow come across the line for that final lap. I think that has to be our driver of the race. I think, personally, Monty. I've absolutely loved that. Watson, a great defensive drive. Letting those drivers bearing down on him make the mistakes and maintaining that win. Marvellous stuff. Absolutely great from Watson.
Absolutely.
But I have to say,
Congratulations to the University of Bolton there for winning the first race from Wolverhampton there in 2nd and Salford in 3rd. That's our top 3 there, guys. And then in 4th, that is the University of Leon in Spain. Victoria in 5th. And then it sounds like your driver of the day in 6th, Giles?
Indeed, driver of the day for me has got to be Cohen, the University of Glasgow Racing, in one of the Lamborghinis. A great drive from start to finish. Lovely bit of drama. And I've got to say that... Oh, hello! Or is this just a celebration? Is this donuts trying?
This is donut time. Oh, yeah, so I forgot to give you the heads up on this. So during the warm-down lap, or cool-down lap, I should say, people like to go bouncing off walls, ramping into gravel tracks, the back of other cars. This is just students having fun now, guys. So don't worry, this is just the cool down as we start preparing for the second race, which will be happening in about 10 minutes' time. What will happen now, guys, is the drivers will swap. Their second drivers will come on board. We had 2 qualifying sessions before we went live. So driver 1 in race 1, driver 2 in race 2. Makes sense, doesn't it? So what we're going to do is we're going to organise the grids for the second race, and we're going to see which universities made it into there. Again, as I say, guys, we have 2 servers running simultaneously. We are showing you the top 20, the fastest 20 from the first qualifying session. We're coming into the second qualifying session now, has now been done. So we're going to tot up those, create the grids from there. So some of the universities that you've seen here in this first race may not be live streamed in the second race because they're in the bottom server. And one of those, which I can tell you straight away will not be joining us, is Salford, because they are a 1-driver entry today. And so per the penalties which we have to apply, they have to start at the back of the grid of the bottom tier server. So I'm sure they'll be very pleased with their P3 and getting some big points on this part, because well, in the bottom tier server, there's not that many points available, Giles.
No, not at all. So heartbreak for Salford there, but that is the way these things go. They've clearly got the pace, but the organisation behind the team a little bit less of where it needs to be. But then again, I can completely understand that. We've got to remember all of this is just for fun. And these students are studying for degrees. And I don't know about you, but I found that studying for a degree is rather hard. You tend not to have a lot of free time. So the fact that they are able to do this and compete as well as they are is a real testament to all of the drivers involved in the sim racing series this year. Around the world, we do have teams from quite literally everywhere. And it's looking this year, I don't know about you, Monty, but it looks to me this year like we are expecting a real battle between Southampton, Salford, Cambridge, and University of Glasgow.
Yeah, no, that's on early paper, that is what it's looking like at the moment, Giles. I'm going to wait and see what happens in race 2, though, because some teams, as part of their tactics, may have been saving their faster driver for the second race. Because they may have thought it could be an easy way to pick up the full amount of points. So I don't think we're going to have a true picture until both of these races are done, just to see where the big name drivers are. Just to help out on what I'm talking about here, because I appreciate I'm waffling on quite a lot. So I'm just going to stick on the screen here, point allocation. So guys online, what you can see now is how the points are going to be distributed. So as you can see, for Bolton, they've just earned 50 points for winning that race. If they're in the bottom tier server, what this means is technically if they've won that, they're officially 21st. So there's a bit of overlap in the points that we're giving out in the series. So a win in the bottom tier server is, inverted commas, only worth 25 points rather than the full 50. So for someone like Salford, as I say, they're going to be kicking themselves because, yes, they've scored 42 points in this first race, but for the second race, the most that they can possibly score now is 25. And then we add those 2 points together, and that's their total for the round. Perhaps some of the teams have not been putting their fastest drivers in race 1 because they thought, well, everyone else is going to put their fastest driver in race 1. In theory, that means they're going to have an easy win in race 2, so they'll get their 50 points in the second half of the broadcast that we're going to see now. Does that make sense, Giles?
Makes absolute sense, and it means that race 2 is going to be equally or even more exciting than race 1. And after the drama on track that we had from start to finish for race 1, I can only imagine what race 2 is going to be offering us. Plenty of support in the comments for Ion. A lot of love for Ion. Also, a big comment there. Come on, SUR from Sticky Ninja 3. Nev Cohen said, it's not even me, it's Ibra driving right now. So people were assuming one driver was driving, the other driver was driving. In fact, yes, we've been talking about Cohen driving, and it turns out it was Ibra driving the entire time. So I do apologize. The wrong name was on my screen. So as a result, Ibra, hats off to you for your driving. For now, though, we'll take a 5-minute break and we'll be back with the second race here at Imola for Formula Student Simulated Racing 2022-2023. And welcome back to round one of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series 2022-2023. We are live from a digital Imola, and it has been wall-to-wall action from lights out. If you were watching earlier, you would have seen race one, which was absolutely iconic from start to end. Great racing. Meanwhile, we also do have a lower tier, which you weren't able to see, but I can now bring you the results from the lower tier race that took place simultaneously. And winning that inaugural race in the lower tier was the University of Portsmouth's alumni team. In second place, we had the University of West of England from Bristol. In third, in car 32, it was, of course, the University of Hertfordshire. Number 18 came fourth, that being, of course, York University, 20C. Kingston University in sixth. In seventh, it was Queen's University, Belfast. In eighth, Heriot Watt University. In ninth, it was car number 44, Calstrad University. And in 10th, rounding out the top 10, Trinity College Dublin, rounding out the top 10 in the lower tier of the inaugural round of Formula Student Sim Racing Series 2022-2023. Plenty of action going on here, and you can get in touch. You can let us know what you're thinking of the on-track action. I'm at Giles_Cosgrove on social media. You can also post a comment in the chat. Got to ask, where on earth have Cardiff gone? I'm coming to you live from Cardiff University. I am designing the suspension for the Cardiff University Formula Student Team for Silverstone 2023, so keep your eyes out for that. Where on earth Cardiff have ended up in the results on the lower tier, I don't know, because we cannot find them.
Well, I don't know what happened to Cardiff in the first race there, but I can tell you we're riding on board with them right now, so they're in the top tier server for race 2, Giles, so fingers crossed something good will happen with them. It looks like Mr. Palmer is the driver for Cardiff just now. And probably a good thing as well to mention to the audience, I think, is that the universities that you saw in the first race, guys, aren't necessarily going to be shown in the live stream here. As we mentioned earlier, there are 2 qualifying sessions. Qualifying 1 was for the first race, and qualifying 2 is for the second race. So depending where you qualified in those respective qualifying sessions is going to determine which server you're going to be in for those races. The top 20 in the qualifying makes it into the live stream server here, the top tier server. Everyone else is basically battling from 21st onwards in the bottom tier server, if you may. So you may be looking at the timing sheets now going, hang on, there's a few unis here who we didn't see them in race 1, what's going on? Well, that's because through a mixture of better qualifying performances, let's say in Q2 compared to their respective teammates in Q1, and the fact that quite a few of the big names had to take on board a penalty because they're fielding only a 1-driver entry, Salford being probably the most highest profile name of them all. That means we've got a chance to see some of the other universities. I guess very kindly, because of those taking on a penalty, this means that we get to show some airtime for these universities instead, Giles, like Portsmouth alumni, the winners of the bottom tier in race 1. I see they're in the entry list here as well. Staffordshire have made it in, Heriot Watt, Cardiff, as we just mentioned as well, University of Leicester, and I'm sure I'm missing Manchester as well. I'm sure I'm missing a couple of other ones here, but it's almost like a brand new grid for this race now, isn't it?
It almost is like a brand new grid, which is great to see. So plenty of action, plenty of chances to see drivers you may not have seen earlier in race 1. So race 2 is all to play for. A whole grid here. You've got people from Hull, UCL, Southampton. You've also got, not to mention, of course, University of Manchester, up the north. So this could be very exciting indeed.
I'll tell you what, Giles, we've got our own version of Glasgow Rangers and Celtic going on here. We have Strathclyde and Glasgow in the same server as well. This should be exciting to watch.
Now, can Glasgow make up for the lost points in race 1? It should have been an absolute domination, but through a variety of reasons, some of which were nothing to do with them, that Porsche and that side impact looked massive. Can Glasgow pull it back and pull back those much-deserved points for this second race?
Absolutely.
Let's find out now then, as we line up on the grid for race 2 of round one of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series 2022-2023. In the commentary box, it's Giles Cosgrove here, joined by Monty.
Hello. Yeah, no, we've got about 40 seconds before the grids get formed there. Yeah, we're on to our second race of the night. It's going to be another 25-minute race, guys. So we hope you really do enjoy what you see tonight. Unsurprisingly, a lot of the teams have gone for the Lamborghini. It was the fastest in practice. Who's your money on, Giles?
I'd like to put my money on Mr. Aaron Farmer, affectionately known as Slabhead from Cardiff University. We love Aaron. He's an absolute legend. And if you want to follow Cardiff University's journey, you can do so on our Instagram and on our TikTok, which is wonderfully managed by Sam Gibbons. Our TikTok is one of the best you'll find on that side of TikTok, the Formula Student area of TikTok. Cardiff Racing do very well. We're lining up on the grid now then for this second race.
As Giles is being wonderfully biased towards Cardiff as well, I should probably make it fair for everyone else on the chat just now. If you've got your own teams tags and stuff that you want to spam away with, feel free to stick those in the comments as well. And let's share the love. Let's see what everyone's teams are doing. Of course, this is all something they're doing in their spare time just now. The sim racing series, they're picking up a load of driving skills, engineering skills. Ultimately, the target of this is to give them exposure to live race engineering situations, which hopefully a lot of these guys are going to find once they eventually join the industry themselves, once they've graduated. And if not then definitely come next July, once the next proper Formula Student competition takes place. These guys know how to set up a car, they understand vehicle dynamics, and based on what we saw in the first race, how to handle pressure.
Pressure is very key here. Bear in mind, although this is all zeros and ones, the drivers do set up the cars themselves. Vehicle dynamics is not an easy skill to learn. So all of that informs how well they do in the race. And then, of course, it's the race itself, and you can never predict things like that. So we are on board with your lead car for Wolverhampton. It is a Lamborghini in pole. In second, it is, of course, University of Glasgow Racing. Back in second, they qualified first previously, in second now. In third, it is the University of Bolton. In fourth, University of Basque Country, I believe, or have I misread the number there? Is that 9?
That is correct. Basque Country Victoria is their full name. It's another long one. However, I see some lights are coming on, Giles.
Light 1, light 2, light 3, 4 lights, 5 lights, 6 lights. We're about to go racing again here at Imola. Lights out, away we go then. Heading down towards turn 1. It's absolute carnage. Cars left, right, and centre. Who's going to get the best exit? And it looks to me like the University of Glasgow have got into pole position. Marvellous stuff. They're immediately out of the gate. In third, it looks to me, yes, it is indeed. It is Wales Trinity St David in third. And that is absolute carnage. There it is, the turn 1 carnage.
We were looking forward to that. We were really looking forward to that. Oh, there goes another one.
That's going to really shuffle the grid about.
Fantastic. Well done, students. Well done. This is true BUKC style racing here. I'm proud of you all.
And Bolton have taken the lead as a result of the carnage out of the gate. Wolverhampton in second. And in third, out of nowhere, that looks to me to be car number 11. That is TU Ilmanu. I apologise, geography is not my strength. In fourth, meanwhile, car number 1, University of Southampton. In fifth, car number 9, it is University of Wales, Trinity St David. That's a mouthful and a half. That makes up your top 5. The cars now headed towards the left-hander here, all bunched up together after the turn 1 carnage. Nicely done there from everyone involved, as one would expect. Down in 18th.
Glasgow, what happened to them?
That is a good question. We did miss that indeed. In amongst all of that, Glasgow down from first into 7th. Going to be another recovery drive for the Scottish team.
There's a serious breakout there. You can see where the pileup happened, because after this little chain, there's 6 seconds between Cambridge in 9th and UCL in 10th position, with what looks like a very battered Porsche, actually.
All the best Porsches are battered. So that is UCL in 10th. In 11th, car number 5. It is the University of West of England. Lovely to see that. And going off there, what is happening amongst all of that? Dropping down the rankings, car number 20. It is Kingston University, sent off wide there, losing a lot of positions as a result of that battle. In amongst UE, UCL, this battle in the midfield, a lot of 3-4 abreast here. UE in 11th, UCL in 10th, the gap between them 2 seconds. This is the battle for 11th.
I think it's a 25-minute race with the way that they're all going on the second lap here, would you, Giles? This is fantastic to watch.
Marvellous intensity straight out of the gate, right off the mark. The battle for 11th, hotting up there, as you can see the gap dropping now between the gap between the cars behind.
So, whilst we're looking at that at the back, I'm just looking at the top again. It looks like Southampton and UWTSD are having a nice little battle coming onto the... I beg your pardon. Oh yeah, it is Southampton, beg your pardon. So here we are, side by side, coming onto the straight. The Lamborghini does have the power advantage. So in theory, you should be able to just out-drag them.
They're going to try it now as they go down the inside through the start-finish straight, heading towards Tamburello. Can they out-drag them? There's another car right behind them, the Ferrari joining in. And it looks like Southampton might have made it stick. Yes, but the Audi. Oh! I was not expecting that. Southampton off there. And that's it, done.
So one place made
Very nice.
Instantly lost 3 places from outbreaking himself into Tamburello then. Oh, and there goes
Bit of
Glasgow.
contact there. I'm not going to lie, that looked to me to be Glasgow trying to shoehorn their way through a gap that just wasn't quite big enough. And the driver's behind trying to avoid it, and it just turns into utter carnage. Oh, dearie me, drivers dropping down the grid left, right and centre here as a result of that battle.
This is amazing. This is lap 3. We've still got 20 minutes still to go, and there's another one off now. Who's that? The Manchester now. Oh, apologies, ladies and gentlemen. It's not very professional for commentators to be laughing, but this is fantastic racing. This is it's keeping us all on the edge of our seats. We just don't know what's going to be happening next. We can see everyone's got so much pace, but for whatever reason, there's just so much red mist on the track just now. Everyone's trying to find a way through. And, well, obviously, they're going to be hating this because they're losing points because of this. But I guess for you guys back home, this is wonderful to watch. Big Fs all round. Big Fs to every single person, I would say, apart from the top 4 who have pulled out a 10-second gap after 3 laps from the rest of the field.
University of Bolton leading with a gap of 3 seconds between University of Bolton and University of Wolverhampton. And then TU Ilmenau is in 3rd there. Unexpected. We saw Bolton and we saw Wolverhampton doing well in race 1, but TU Ilmenau coming out of nowhere in the 2nd race. In 4th, it's the University of Wales Trinity St David. In 5th, we've got car number 1. It's University of Southampton. We're on board with car number 3. University TU Ilmenau.
So
where have they come from?
Team. This is our German team, Giles. They were in the 2nd server for race 1, so they were in the bottom tier server, but they had a good qualifying. So I was mentioning earlier how some teams may be waiting to field their top drivers in the 2nd race because they may feel like they can get more points that way. And I get a feeling that with Ilmenau, that's exactly what they've done. Not that I'm saying their other driver was slow, by the way. But, obviously, every team has a faster driver, and it does look like they made a conscious decision to focus on race 2 and try and go for points there. And it seems to be paying dividends so far, isn't it?
So far, so good for... How do we say it? Ilmenau?
I'm going to attempt Ilmenau, and I'm probably going to get corrected by some people on the chat. Guys, if there's anyone out there that can help these two Anglified morons learn how to pronounce foreign words correctly, please
It would
let
be
us
much
know.
appreciated. Now, we say this, we've been busy talking about how to pronounce German words. Meanwhile, Wales Trinity St David creeping up behind TU there, closing the gap to about a second in the Audi. So this could well be a battle for third, hotting up as the race continues. 17 and a half minutes to go. Your number one driver at the moment, as things stand, is University of Bolton. In second, we have got car number 31. It's University of Wolverhampton. And as we've been saying, the German team, TU, in third. And creeping up behind them, Wales Trinity St David in fourth. Back down the grid, utter carnage. Plenty of positions moving around, but as Monty's been saying, a lot of aggressive driving from all the teams right out of the gate. No one playing it safe and waiting to settle into the rhythm of the race. They've been going great guns from the off, and there's been a lot of spectacular driving as a result of it. Maybe some teams who were going to place higher have lost points as a result, and that they'll be kicking themselves. But for you at home, you're going to be loving this. It's great racing all round from the simulated track that is Imola. And that gap is closing. I'm certain that gap between Wales Trinity St David and TU is closing now. Half a second, just under a second there.
It is indeed. It is just under a second gap now. Of course, with all this going on as well, guys, do remember we have another server with the rest of the field basically racing in there, running simultaneously with this, so the bottom tier server. Just a quick update on there, the top three there. So Salford are indeed leading, so they have already come from the back of the grid up into first position now. So they are capitalising on those soft tyres and no joker to try and make the best of a bad situation there. University of Leon, who we saw as well in the top tier server in race 1, they are second. And in third position is the University of Coventry. So that's your top three in the bottom tier server, or 21st, 22nd, 23rd, I guess is probably the other way of looking at it.
Meanwhile, I'm going to have to cut you off because things are getting really exciting in the battle for first place in the top tier racing. It is, of course, hotting up. There's the gap. This is it. This is the battle for third, I should say. The battle for third is getting really exciting now between Wales Trinity St David and TU from Germany. On board now with Wales Trinity David hotting up right on the tail of the German car. Can they make a move? Are they close enough? They're slipstreaming down through this tight left-hander. Not enough room to get through there. There's no gap yet, but as the tyres begin to wear off, they're going to want to make a move sooner rather than later. That gap about half a second, or even less than that. So this is the battle that we're most excited about right now in the top tier race. This is the battle for third between Wales Trinity St David and TU Ilmenau. As both go slightly wide there. Slipstreaming now. Wales St Trinity David slipstreaming behind the German Lamborghini, but that Lamborghini's got more power. We know this. We know a lot of the teams chose the Lamborghini, the GT3 cars we're racing here today, because it's got that straight line speed. And you can see it every time the Audi gets close through the corners. Then the German driver gets on the gas, and there it is, there's a move there, and there it is, forcing the Lamborghini wide, the Audi of Wales St Trinity David getting through there, and the Lamborghini squirming about behind, trying to maintain track position from Germans there, but that is a marvellous move, bit aggressive from Wales Trinity St David, but they made it stick, and they are up into third place.
Nice bit of pressuring there from a UWTSD. Ilmenau, unforced error there. They'll be kicking themselves back, but it's not over yet. We still have 14 minutes of the race left to go. And one in particular I'm keeping an eye out on, Giles, is Southampton, because I've noted they are the only driver in the top 5 on medium tyres. So, in theory, for the second half of this race, they should have a bit of an advantage. The soft tyres are starting to die off. Now, granted, it is a cooler day on the server today. It's only about 14, 15 degrees, I think. So those softs should hang on a little bit longer. But still, soft tyres on GT3 cars that's a lot of weight for it to carry around. So keep an eye out on Southampton. They could be at a bit of a pace disadvantage just now. But I would fancy them getting into third position by the end of this race, because their tyres are going to hold on a little bit longer.
You can actually see it in the rear of your screens there, the battle for fourth hotting up now as we are on board with car number 1. As we've been saying, it is Southampton there. And that gap there, just about a second, and it's about to close up a heck of a lot more. As there it is, the pressure now on TU Ilmenau. Someone do correct us on the pronunciation at some point, but as things stand, getting very close. But was there an opportunity there? Not quite, but the pressure is being ramped up by the Southampton car on those harder compound tyres, on the mediums as opposed to the softs. Those won't die off as quick. So if the Southampton driver can just maintain that pressure, it is going to eventually happen. The TU driver will lose grip, the tyres will die off, and that is when the Southampton driver strikes. Not that they might want to wait, because the pressure is just being piled on right now.
Nice bit of tactics. He's filling out the mirrors into the corner. Look at that. Unforced error.
Excellent. TU go wide. Southampton down the inside, making things stick. That is high-pressure driving indeed. Excellent stuff. Nice, clean, tidy. An unforced error from TU, and Southampton go through up into 4th position. And it is now just a question of waiting for the front field, the tyres to die off, and Southampton could well be onto a winner here. But TU not willing to give up, going round the outside here. TU not willing to give up the position. This is racing. This is what we're here for. 2 abreast into the right-hand corner here. Southampton holding on to that position, but the TU car not giving up in the slightest. Both the same power, both Lamborghinis, 2 abreast here, side by side. Southampton blocking off, driving defensively. Great defensive driving from Southampton. The difference here is the tyres. Right now, those softs have been on those cars for 15 minutes. They'll be going away, but the mediums will be holding firm. So here we go then. I'm surprised, I will admit, that TU haven't dropped back as much. The pressure is still there on the Southampton car in 4th to maintain the position they just took from the German entrant. And that gap is closing in the corners, right behind them, slipstreaming, looking for an opportunity, staying right behind, tucked in nicely behind the Southampton car is TU, going down the pit straight, heading towards Tamburello now. This is what it's all about. This position, this is points mean prizes. Southampton looking to maintain that 4th position. Oh, hang on.
There we are. He's outbraked himself. I think that's the end of that battle. But now, anyway, Giles, it looks like Ilmenau ended up outbraking himself then to Tamburello, and that has given Southampton the jump that they desperately need. However, from all of that squabbling, Southampton's now 3 seconds behind UWTSD. So, yeah, all that hard work to get past for 4th, he's going to have to do it all again now and try and make up the gap to get 3rd position.
You can see the gap there on your screens, the Audi of UWTSD going off your screens now. So that is about a 3-4 second gap there to make up in 9 minutes. It can be done. I think it will be. I think we're going to be seeing a battle for 3rd sooner rather than later as the soft tyres go off and the medium tyre strategy from Southampton begins to pay dividends. I'm looking forward to that. I can't expect that not to happen until, we'll have a few minutes, but I don't... there's a wide car back there just on the back of your screens now. That's car number 7. That is Harriet Watt University going very wide into the gravel trap. What happened there? Unforced error, or was that contact? I completely missed it. If you saw it, let us know in the chat, in the comments, at me on Twitter, at Giles_Cosgrove. Going wide there. This is car number 39. We're on board with Aaron Farmer for Cardiff University. Meanwhile, in front of them, it's 37. It's the University of Leicester. Aaron getting nice and close in behind the University of Leicester, making use of all the asphalt. Looking for an opportunity going round the outside. Is he going to be able to make it stick? Is the question, and no, going wide off the track there. He's going to have to give that position back. Didn't quite make that work. Aaron for Cardiff University. Mr. Aaron Farmer there, maintaining that position though, and the pressure is still on. Car number 37.
They're a minute behind the leaders. We could see some lapping happening in this race if these gaps carry on expanding as they are.
And that's when things do really get interesting.
Absolutely.
This is really exciting. The gap opening up now between University of Leicester and Cardiff University.
It looks like Victoria's just making a move on T. Ilmanu here for a 5th and 6th, Giles.
It does indeed. Side by side they go. Round the outside, not quite making things happen there then. Maintaining that position in 5th, it's University of Basque Country, as I have it here. TU in 6th, dropping down to 6th now. So they managed to make that work. Very well done to Basque Country.
Look who it's allowed to creep up onto the back of them, though. It's our most entertaining team of the evening. It's University of Glasgow. Here they are on another recovery drive. Not quite sure what happened at the beginning, guys, but I mean, 10 out of 10 for entertainment. I'm sure the team are going to be looking at this whole race weekend differently, because evidently they have the pace. They're in the front row of both races. But
The gap ahead for University of Glasgow, 2 seconds to make up in 7 minutes. I reckon that's doable for Glasgow. They are proven immediately out of the gate, their first ever event for Formula Student Sim Racing, and they are proven to be a force to be reckoned with, but they just haven't quite converted that into a front finish just yet. 2 seconds to make up now as they head down towards Tamarello.
Yeah, and that's a very good point, actually, because the other part of the season as well, guys, is that each university are allowed a drop score. So for one of the rounds in this season, they can drop their worst results. I'm sure Glasgow will be hoping that this is that, and from here on then, it's going to be wins, wins, and wins.
Second now, the gap down to a second between University of Glasgow and TU Ilmenau. Scotland versus Germany as they go into that left-hander there on your screens now.
Careful, you sound like a football commentator there.
Let's try and avoid that, shall we?
Absolutely. Whilst this is going on, I am noting in the timing sheets that Wolverhampton have got the gap down to half a second to Bolton, so I am keeping an eye on that, guys. If I see that getting any closer, we will move the TV cameras to that battle, as it looks like as we come into the last 5 minutes of the race, we're going to have another battle for the win to the finish line, Giles.
I'm so excited. This has gone by so quickly, and there's been some great wheel-to-wheel action from the outset. These drivers not giving an inch to each other, looking for the win from the outset. No strategizing. They've been put to the floor since lights out, and it is great to see. You are looking at the battle for 6th between University of Glasgow and TU Ilmenau. The gap there, approximately just under a second. It's not quite closing. Oh, hang on a minute, though. I was about to say it doesn't seem to be closing as much as Glasgow would like, but that said, meanwhile, up ahead, we've got a battle for 4th going on right here, right now. This is great stuff. We don't know where to look. It's all happening as the two drivers go through, and there it is, car number 8. That is Basque Country taking 4th, or holding on to 4th, I should say, from Southampton.
Now that surprised me. That has surprised me. Those softs are hanging on much longer than I was expecting. So something's going on with Southampton. They're losing time. I thought they'd have the pace advantage now. So I called that one entirely wrong. So I do apologise.
As did I. It was the prediction I made as well, and I got that one wrong again. Basque Country in 4th now, opening the gap between them and Southampton behind them. That gap opening up to a second already. So clearly, myself and Monty were thinking those medium tyres would come into their own in the race about now as the softs began to drop off and lose their grip, but that just isn't happening. And Southampton losing out as a result of that. Meanwhile, on board with University of Glasgow trying to take 6th position from TU Ilmenau. This has been going on for a fair old while, and knowing Glasgow, I reckon this would have been over sooner rather than later, but TU are holding on magnificently, maintaining that gap between them and the Scottish challengers.
This defender, I have to say, I really admired the racecraft in this race, because every time a pass has been made, I thought, well, that was it. And they come back fighting, haven't they? They will not give up without a fight. So this has been really great to watch, and great entertainment and great driving throughout.
Really nice, clean driving from the German team. German efficiency at its finest once again, as that gap between them and their Scottish challengers, University of Glasgow, is definitely less than a second now. I really do hope we get to see some wheel-to-wheel action before the end of the race. Just under 3.5 minutes to go here for the second race at Imola, as Glasgow hunt down.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Round the end. That's marvellous stuff. A little bit of contact there, a little bit of knocking on the door, but Glasgow are through and up into 6th. And now it's got time to hunt down Southampton. Monty, can you confirm for me that Glasgow are on the soft tyres?
Yes, they are indeed on the soft tyres. So
Southampton on the medium. 2.5 minutes or so to go before the end of the race. Can Glasgow get up to 5th in another magnificent recovery drive from the Scottish team? Meanwhile, what has happened at the front? There's a whole 6 seconds now between first and second. When did that happen?
I have no idea, Giles. I'm just looking through the last timing to see what's happened. It looks, well, obviously something has happened to Wolverhampton, so I'm assuming an unforced error, fell off the track somewhere. Perhaps it had something to do with the back markers, because I have noted that Bolton... Oh dear, right, there's someone spun off there. Who would that be?
That looks to me red flagged. It's UCL.
It would be UCL, wouldn't it? Yes, there we are. Got them at the end there. Thank you for confirming. So something happened to them on the final corner there. They spun off and have been lapped, like Cambridge have as well, unfortunately. But look at this. Bolton are about to come and lap Strathclyde. So we won't promise that Glasgow battle at all, it looks like. Which is a shame. But hey, they're in the top server. They're still going to get some big points for this. And Bolton... absolutely dominating this race.
On board with Strathclyde there in 18th as the front runners come round to lap those at the back. They're going to lose time and it's going to bunch up the front field, and that's when things get exciting. 1.5 minutes or so on the clock as I have it. Strathclyde there trying to maintain position as Watson wants to come through. Strathclyde not being particularly helpful. Flashing the lights, and I can understand Watson's frustration there. For the University of Bolton, that's his position to have. Strathclyde way back down, should not be holding him up. The gap now between first and second is down to 4, so he lost 2 seconds as a result of that. It was a gap of 6 seconds between the two front runners, and it's now down to 4 seconds as a result of Bolton being held up by Strathclyde. And this is the issue these front runners are going to have. Luckily for them, the clock is winding down, and it looks to me like University of Bolton are on track for their win in the second race of the first round of Formula Student Sim Racing 2022-2023. Live from a digital Imola. It's all zeros and ones, but it's nonetheless exciting.
Just going back a subject there, Giles, I have to say, as the event captain for this series, technically Strathclyde didn't do anything wrong there. They were just following my orders from the driver's briefing, where I had confirmed to them all that there's officially no blue flags in this race, and it is the responsibility of the leaders to make it safely past the back markers. So, as frustrating as that was for Bolton to try and get past, Strathclyde were literally just doing what I had told them to do before these races had got underway, and it looks like they're doing a good job of obeying my orders again with Wolverhampton now.
Hats off to Strathclyde. I do apologise. I wasn't aware that there were no blue flags. So magnificent defensive driving from Strathclyde in both cases, holding up the two front runners, that was a brilliant overtake from Wolverhampton to get past Strathclyde. So hats off to Strathclyde. Apologies for any hurt feelings there, but blue flags aren't a thing in this apparently, which means we get some excellent wheel-to-wheel racing no matter what position you are in on the grid. We're on board now with the front runners, University of Bolton trying to come past.
That would be Staffordshire, I believe.
Come past Staffordshire now.
With the best last name in the world, looking at the timing boards there, Mr. Mate. Staffordshire, mate. But what a dominating drive from Bolton here as they round the last corner on the last lap, Giles.
It has been absolutely seamless. The second race, and it has been won. Flashing their lights, rightfully so. University of Bolton take the checkered flag here at Imola for Formula Student Sim Racing, the first event, the second race, the 2022-2023 season. Coming in second there, it is Wolverhampton. Taking third, car number 9 will be Wales Trinity St David.
Yeah, a little bit
when
far
it appears
back, though,
on your
they?
screens. Far back, that is a big gap. That is a gap of about 10 seconds or so. Coming into your screens now,
20.
I think. 20-second gap.
There we are. There they go by UWTST in third, Victoria fourth, Southampton another 10 seconds behind. Just holding off Glasgow there for fifth and sixth.
Racing right until the end. Some great stuff here. Absolutely marvellous racing.
Congratulations to everyone there for completing the first round. This has been thoroughly entertaining to watch as we just watched the last few drivers. Let's see if there's any student shenanigans going on the cool-down lap. Well, according to Wolverhampton, they haven't got the memo and they're still going flat out.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Engineering 101.
Absolutely. Yep, no. Oh, no, there we are. UWTSD got the memo. Got some donuts going on there. Lovely. Lovely. Bit of lawn mowing going on there from... Oh, that's Hull. That's a Mr. Gironi Mo. Reversing racing going on there. Wonderful. What a fantastic way of finishing it off. But I have to say, Giles, as entertaining as Glasgow have been to watch in both races, thoroughly enjoyed watching their action throughout both of those races there. I have to say, hats off to both Bolton and to Wolverhampton for really capitalising on both of those races there. They really have maximised this round.
Without a shadow of a doubt, clean, efficient, confident driving from both teams, and it's paid dividends in the points. So there you have it. That is Bolton taking the win at the second race of the first round for Formula Student Sim Racing, the new series 2022-2023, live from a digital Imola, basking in golden hour. The Northern team burning out, rightfully so. They've done a marvellous job, a confident drive throughout, unchallenged across the 25 minutes, full 15 laps. One does have to wonder.
Sorry, I'm just enjoying all these sparks and smoke.
Exactly. What? See, this is why Greta Thunberg would approve of sim racing, because none of this is going into the atmosphere and causing pollution.
Absolutely.
So good news, we can have the fun of racing without all the nasty chemicals.
You say that, it's putting extra stress on my graphics card, so I guess that's extra energy in my computer that way. So
you can turn your heating down that way. You can turn your heating down. You can heat your house with your graphics card, and that way you can save money on your energy bills. Problem solved.
I was just thinking exactly the same thing there. I was getting, oh, thank goodness for that blackout screen. Right, that's going to save my energy bill. Fantastic. But no, jokes aside, that was a wonderful first two races. Giles, you coming back for more?
I look forward to being back next month for round 2. Cannot wait to join you. Hope you'll join us as well. You'll be here, Monty, won't you?
Oh, absolutely. Event captain's always here. He's got to make sure that the students do exactly as he says. And I have to say, just before we head off as well, a huge thank you to our event sponsors and suppliers for tonight. JJ Racing, who helped to organise these events, and to Emperor Servers, who supply basically everything which you're seeing on the screen tonight. This comes from them hosting the Assetto Corsa service for us. So a big thank you to our suppliers and sponsors there. What was your highlight then, Giles?
It was all the wheel-to-wheel racing in the second race for me, because it was constant. No matter where you were in the grid, people were going against each other left, right and centre. Some marvellous driving from Aaron Farmer from Cardiff University. There was some great stuff up front and a dominant drive from Bolton. But for me, it had to be that battle between TU Ilmenau and Wales Trinity St David. It was great.
Fully agree with you. It really was fantastic to watch that stuff. And great racing, great points capitalised there from the teams. And also an honourable shout out. I'm just dug out the Server 2 results as I see that they've just finished their races as well. Salford have indeed held on to the win there. So from the back of the grid, they managed to take victory in the second tier server there. University of Leon was third, Coventry fourth, Ion or Stavanger, the Norwegian team, were fourth, and rounding out the top 5 was the University of Dundee. So congratulations to our top 5 in the second tier server. Of course, congratulations to our top 5 here. Bolton, University of Wolverhampton, Trinity St David, Victoria, and reigning champions Southampton finishing off the top 5 there.
So ones to watch going forward,
won't we? Yeah.
We will ones to watch going forward then. Southampton, Bolton, and of course Glasgow Racing, University of Glasgow Racing, TU Ilmenau looking very good, and coming out of nowhere, Basque Country and Wales Trinity St David. Also exciting stuff. So it's all to play for going into round 2, which will be taking place next month. Monty, I'm sure you have the date on you.
Yes, I do. It's on the 21st of January, guys, so keep that penned in your calendar. For all the latest updates, look at IMechE or Formula Students' Instagram page. You'll see all the latest updates there. Unfortunately, we can't tell you what the driver standing or team standings are like at the moment. There's now a 24-hour period of protest allowed for any teams who want to protest anything. So we will be publishing these standings at a later date. That's everything really from me then, Giles. So should we sign off?
I think we should. Thank you very much for joining us. Do join us again for the next race of Formula Student Sim Racing 2022-2023. He's been Monty, I've been Giles, and we'll catch you next time.
Take care. Bye.